Howdy folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play our Rimworld game here as West Whirled, where I continue to pretend that I have a vague idea of what the Westworld TV show is like, apparently. We are here building our Western colony, which is increasingly becoming, maybe it's going to be a little bit more of a Western theme park kind of vibe. Especially if we do sort of a bit of a high-tech area over here. You can see I've done a lot of planning between episodes. In fact, a little bit of time might have passed as well. I think I did let a little bit more construction happen after I finished recording last time, and then I went on a big planning mode. Now, we're going to talk about that in just a scooch, but first of all, we did make a change, of course, at some point fairly recently to Diego Dyer, also increased the difficulty over here. Now, we also got our first Western-style quest right in between episodes. So if we look at active over here, is it this one? It is this one over here. We have a bounty. So Fur, the Grand Mufti of the White Quarry Settlement, hails us. Apparently the notorious Robert Smallscars Alvarado is hiding out in our vicinity. Fur's asking us to bring Smallscars to one of their settlements for a grand sum of 2,800 silver, double if alive. They're hiding in a safe house, and it's probably guarded. If we clear out their camp, transport pods will deliver the following resources. With the following resources, we're alive. We'll get an LTEX robe, regardless, just from clearing out the camp. If we deliver Fur to this base, we'll get some money, especially if he's still alive. That is quite cool. Now, Diego Dyer definitely does weight things like this, sort of Western themed events, but I have seen some of these, I believe, with the other storytellers in my offline game over here. So I think as long as you're running the factions expanded settlers, I think you will have these events in the pool, but I think it might be a little bit more likely if you're running Diego Dyer. So that's going to be quite interesting. We do have 16 days to figure out what we want to do about this. If we jump to the safe house here, chugga chugga chugga, generate planet. The safe house is there. You can see it looks like a wanted poster. That's super cute. So we are, is this us over here, I guess? Yeah, Frontier Town. So not too far. And then what do we have here? Oh, an item stash as well. See, that would be quite interesting. So that's one thing to maybe consider. That's a lot of money. Well, the little thing I'm concerned about raising the difficulty is obviously this base is not, it's not designed for efficiency. We're going purely for looks, and our wealth value is rapidly skyrocketing as well. So some of these raids are going to start being very scary, which is why I have gone ahead and put down for now these little barricades, little barricades. I put them in the queue here so that we've got a little bit of firing position put in. But we are going to have to start the move to our real defense at some point. But before I show that, which I have started to allocate, over here, this is all forbidden. We're not going to build this yet. And I mean, I know I could be using planning mode, especially I could be using the more planning mod to have a bunch of different colors things. But I like to literally plop down what I'm going to do and then forbid, because then it saves some extra clicking for later. This is going to be sort of the quarry location here. It's probably going to be an area town just called The Quarry. And it's going to have the quarry as well as room for a bunch of people, which is going to include our stone workers. Oh, by the way, speaking of stone workers, I finally came up with a name for Lane here. Roxanne! Because she is into mining. Anyway, Roxanne. So she's over there. And yeah, so between Brick, Petra, and Roxanne, I think we might have 3 people living out at the quarry camp. So that'll be that over there. And they're going to have room for their own little dining room, little bathroom here. I mean, it's not going to be a bathroom allocated to them, but it does mean that over at this, closer to this end of the map, people are going to have access to a bathroom as well as another table. So other things that have been laid down would be way over here by the animal pen and our farming area, which I have planned out with some expansions. So first of all, the growing zones here, we already had that last episode, I think. We got cotton. We're going to do Devil Strand over here, so we've got our clothing industry sorted out. We might be able to pull way back on the cotton, especially once the Devil Strand starts to kick in. We'll see. Here we have some corn. This field by itself, I mean, it is going to grow pretty good with the irrigation, but it's not going to be enough to keep everyone fed. So we are also going to do this area with wheat. Now, I don't believe the wheat, which produces actually flour, there's no milling step in with this current set of mods. You just harvest the wheat, you get flour. I don't know if you can use the flour for cooking directly. However, we can use them for bakes, which we'll take a look at the kitchen in the scooch and see what we can do there. Over here, I've got my sort of drug field. We've got tobacco. We've got hops for beer, and I think the wheat might also be used for making whiskey. I'm not sure. And then we've got psychoid over here, which we might use for a little bit of psychoid tea or something, or maybe we'll have a little flake industry on the side. I don't know. And then over here, we've got some extra stuff for drinks. We've got tea, we've got coffee, and in the middle, we've got some sugar cane for people who want some sugar in their coffee, or maybe we'll be making some desserts. So I'm not 100% sure that these two fields will produce enough nutrition. Of course, we will be eating some horse meat as well in there, and that brings us to our houses over here. So I'm built a little farmhouse. This is going to be for our planter. We actually might, eventually, we might get more than one planter, and we might want to consider doing something else with this, or, you know, a little, you know, expand it. I don't know. I got a little rose field around just because, although I have turned off the sowing for this one, so we're not going to plant it right away, but I kind of want it to be a cute little farmhouse kind of look. And over here we've got the abattoir, which is going to have our butcher's thing, and we're going to have a refrigerator over here. And it's actually been quite convenient for people who do harvesting. We'll be able to drop the food in here. We might, I don't know how we're going to prioritize this fridge versus the one in the hotel in terms of doing things. I don't want people to keep having to haul back and forth, but obviously we don't want our cook at the hotel have to walk all the way out here. For now, at the very least, it's going to be set as the assignment for animal corpses, you know, while we're waiting for some butchering to happen or something like that. So I haven't entirely figured out what to do with it yet. This is the rough plan, but I'm not going to be rushing to unforbid this area. And then this little house here was for our ranchers, that sort of idea. Or maybe some more planters. It might just be a sort of a generic little farmhand house rather than anything particularly fancy. We might just put a few beds in here. I'm not sure exactly. But it was a kind of a rough layout of what this area might look like. And then, oh, let me swing back over to the kitchen. So in the kitchen here, I've tweaked some of our food jobs. I put the bakes ahead of the fine meals. I also dropped these numbers down. They were 20 per colonist. I've dropped them down to 10 per because but they don't look at each other. So it's going to be 10 bakes per colonist, 10 fine meals per colonist. The bakes do require flour. Now, this is taking 4 total nutrition, although 2 of it is flour. It does make times 8. I think by default, I think the base job here, because these numbers, like if we look at fine meals times 4, right? 1 nutrition, 1 nutrition. Well, that's how much it takes to make 1 fine meal. So I think it's doing it in bulk. We're getting 4 of them. I suspect that this effectively 4 points of nutrition is for maybe 2 meals normally. So that's why it's doing times 8 as an equivalent to a times 4 job. I'm not entirely sure. Hopefully the numbers work out relatively okay. We'll see. Anyway, we've got both of those in there. And then after that, I do have the simple meal job, which does look at the finer meals and stuff. Oh, plus the starter there. We're still going to make some stews, although we're going to be researching some soup technology later, which seems to be really, really good value. We'll probably replace the stews with soups. And then I do have some dessert jobs in the queue, which needs berries and some sort of animal product. I guess milk or eggs. That makes some sense. So we'll have that. This will give people some good thoughts. And actually sort of acts like a drug. Like it satisfies some drug needs, but doesn't actually, doesn't overdose and presumably doesn't cause people to be addicted. But yeah, it causes recreation over here. So in addition to maybe nutrition, although apparently it can lead to diabetes. So maybe we'll have to limit how many sweets people consume. Other than that, I don't remember where we left things off in terms of construction in this area, but you know, I think it's looking very nice. Still got the sort of flop house setup over here. Still working on these new rooms and some of our production queues, but I don't think that's really changed. I don't have anything in the smithy. Maybe it wasn't built yet? Here's the thing. I would love to protect our people's noggins, but I kind of want everyone to keep wearing cowboy hats. Even if it's not a good idea, but they do even have the religious thing for cowboy hats, so I think we'll go ahead and keep going with that. Now, we should probably prep some melee weapons for our people, because we've got simple sidearms, and it would be great to have them melee. In the company thing, I think we may be making gladius, and in some, or maybe knives, or one or the other. And I mean, a knife as a little, sidearm makes sense, right? A little knife in a sheath kind of makes sense. The thing is, as it turns out, I've been doing a bunch of research, the weapon, at least for our stage of the game, we don't have Zeus hammers or plasma swords yet, but the weapon of choice at this level could be the longsword. Apparently for unarmored people, the longsword is maybe the highest source of damage. It's also quite good at cutting off limbs and stuff like that, and getting crits, so sometimes you can disable people quite quickly without a killing blow with the longsword. However, if they have armor, apparently the club is quite a bit stronger, in particular if you can make uranium clubs, because uranium is very dense, apparently makes an ideal club. It's better against things with armor, up to and including the mechanoids, apparently. But also, one of the advantages of the club is it's less likely to fatally kill someone, and therefore might make it easier to capture people. anytime you are fighting a pawn, like any enemy pawn on the map that gets downed, so just knocked out, there's always a percentage chance they instantly die. That doesn't apply to like your own people or your prisoners or anything like that. It's just raiders, for example. A raider who goes down, even if it's not a blow that's technically should be fatal, has a percentage chance to instantly die. But still, this will make it so that we can capture more people. It's also quite handy for prisoners. Now, the downside to this is, for me thinking about our Western theme, the club doesn't really fit the imagery. Maybe it's more of a truncheon, but like having everyone with a little Bowie knife, doesn't that make so much more sense just visually? The knife is really not as useful though. That's the problem. We can lean into the theme with the knife, just like we're doing with the hats, right? It would be much better, of course, if everyone was in like a big badass flak helmet, but we might keep them in cowboy hats. I mean, their social interaction is getting a boost from the cowboy hats. Maybe I should have done sombreros, which also sort of would have fit the theme and at least giving us more combat accuracy, because the cowboy hat just gives us 10% more social impact. We could be building bowlers, which would have even more. I think the cowboy hats have better temperature management, which is going to be helpful here because we're in a warm area, but so I don't know. Now, while we're at it, I could be making some utility items. Now, I don't think this axe here is a utility item. No, it is not. The cleaver helps with cooking, scalpel with surgery, pickaxe with mining, hammer helps with a lot of jobs, we'll see that, and the hatchet helps with plant stuff. I believe the whip might help with suppression. We'll just take a look at it real quick here. I don't think we're... although the whip has some sort of cowboyish vibe. Oh, it does increase animal gather yield? Oh, when someone shears, milks, or otherwise gathers resources from a living animal and gathers speed. Okay, so we will be building whips for our ranchers. This hatchet here gives us a boost to plant work speed. Sow and harvest plants. I mean, it makes sense. The harvest plant aspect does make a lot of sense. And I think that's what it's vibe for. It's the idea is, oh, this is going to help you cut down trees sooner. But I think in base Rimworld, that skill is the same as like planting skill. So the hatchet, is it a combination like hatchet plus hoe? Because it is going to help planting. So we're clearly going to want that. The hammer helps with all labor. Helps a lot with construction, but does help with all labor. So actually, you can expect to see, regardless what jobs people have, most likely they're going to carry a hammer plus something else. Because like our planters will carry hatchets, but if they're doing a non-plant job, they might be wielding the hammer instead. So we'll probably see some people swapping back and forth. So that's going to be quite nice. The pickaxe, as expected, does help us with mining, 33% speed there. Doesn't help with yields or anything, but the speed is still going to be nice. The scalpel, obviously for surgery, 15% medical 10 speed. Doesn't seem to increase the chance of it, but does make it go faster, and that's still good. And the cleaver, cooking speed boost over here. So we're going to do the same thing we've done for other setups. We're not going to do like one per, because first of all, we don't need one per for each one of these. I'm just going to do until X, where X is 1. Now, for weapons, apparently weapon quality doesn't actually affect DPS or anything like that. Presumably it probably doesn't change the stats that helps out over here. So I mean, I could make sure that we always have a good one in terms of hit points, but I don't think that matters. I don't know if, sorry, I meant, yeah, weapon hit point doesn't affect damage. And I'm hoping the hit points also doesn't affect the utility. Quality does affect weapon damage, but of course these things here we're not going to be using as a primary weapon, although I could sort of maybe see the cleaver, hatchet, hammer, whip maybe end up even getting used for combat. Hell, the pickaxe might. We could put a minimum quality here, but I don't think we need to do that. I don't think we want them to be made out of plasteel. I don't think we want to use plasteel for this, nor do we want uranium. Chitin might be fine. I don't think it matters because we're not like... I mean, once we get the first insect invasion, maybe we want to make a switch over there. I suppose the idea of, like, chitin in this doesn't actually... Maybe I'll knock it off and we'll just do steel. I don't know if I can copy and paste this part of it, though. What is, Oh, next mill and workbench. That's quite cool. Oh, and I can copy here, too? Oh, that's actually very handy. I didn't notice that. So, there we go. We can confirm that this is working out okay. That's what... The material, I think, does copy and paste properly if the thing you're looking at actually uses the same material. If I paste here, I was going to say, yeah, the materials aren't going to copy properly. I'm going to clear list. Stone hammers or steel hammers, I'm going to say, is fine. Wooden hammer, I mean, type of mallet, I suppose, but no, we'll go ahead with those two. We'll paste that in. I think same thing. We'll clear everything. We'll say a stone. Well, I mean, I think it's fine, but conceptually, I want steel hatchets rather than stone ones. We'll paste this. No material. I guess it just uses cloth, period. Interesting that it doesn't use leather. Because leather whips are definitely a thing. Like, wasn't that what, like, the old cowboy whips were made out of, was leather? Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong this whole time. Well, this whole time. I said it once, but in my head, I pictured it as leather. Maybe it's more like, maybe it's leather around the handle, and the rest of it was always made out of cloth or hemp or something? Could be. Anyway, we're going to get our utility stuff here. I guess, okay, here's the thing. God damn. I'm not as worried for taking prisoners, because our population should grow pretty quickly between maybe hospitality, as well as we've got the 4 festivals that have a chance to spawn someone. So I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried that the knife is just a pointless melee weapon. We can't make longswords. I could argue that a longsword might be a really long knife. I wonder if that's like a medieval weapon. Long sword, long blades. Maybe I'll just make people carry long swords and we'll pretend they're long knives. I'm not going to worry about by now. I will shift click this to put it in the super long research queue, although most of this is really cheap research, so we can burn through it extraordinarily quickly. Yeah, maybe I won't worry. They'll pick up random melee weapons. They'll use some of their work tools. They'll use that, and that's going to be okay for now. We can just figure it out later. Okay, finally, this is going to be a long setup to this video here. We're 16 minutes in, we haven't unpaused, but there's a lot to talk about. Over here, defenses. So, obviously, I'll go ahead and unpause. Obviously, everything about our base is laid out very inefficiently, and we're making things harder for ourselves than we need to. Of course, some of our mods is helping to make it a little bit easier, and we're not playing on a super high difficulty, but a lot of our layouts is like huge amounts of walking speeds. We're losing tons of efficiency, and our wealth is being skyrocketed by all the extra construction we're doing, which means the raids are going to be a bit more dangerous. So I was thinking about it, and I am going to take the defenses seriously with a proper hardcore kill box over here. Although I just realized I need this to be tweaked ever so slightly, because I want it to go like that and like that. And then I guess I'll forbid. I should have just used the mass select one again, but there we go. Like this. So this is a serious kill box. The distances here are, I believe, from any one of these points, are within the range of a heavy SMG. So the idea is if we standardize on our hand-operating Gatling guns, right? Portable Gatling guns. Oh, psychic withdraw. Poor Cookie. Enemies that come out here. So because of these sandbags here and here, they can't stand here and use the walls for cover. So they'll be forced to come out here, and from here, they should all be range of heavy SMGs from over here, unless I miscounted stuff, which will be awkward, in which case, that's okay. I'll just extend the wall and the sandbag out a little bit more. We'll figure that out. This is a snaky little chain to slow people down. Now, one of the things that I hadn't realized for a very long time is I guess you only start losing speed when you enter difficult terrain, at least for enemies. So if this was just solid sandbags, they'd lose speed entering here, and then they'd be able to go perfectly fine the rest of the way around. This should minimize their speed as much as possible, which gives us more time to set up, as well as making it so that we are only encountering one enemy at a time. Because they will be spread out. So one at a time will come out here. We'll put in some turrets here later on. And what I might want to do is I might have a separate, sort of express route for people coming in. Because I kind of part of me was thinking very seriously about not blocking the entrance to the road. And having it as a rule that, no, the road has to be unobstructed. But right now we do have a gate. One of the issues I just realized. Certain animals won't pass barricades. Visitors coming through here, I think we'll still be able to come in and walk through this barricade. I might change my mind and put a door somewhere over here so that visitors can just do that. I wonder if I put a door here. Can I use the door for cover? I suppose I can, right? It's a wooden door for now. I can have someone stand here and still use this as cover, which is great. Okay. Ancient terminal. I guess I can just accept this. I do want to get these fancy weapons here at some point. We still have to go and capture someone. Boredom. Doc doesn't have enough entertainment. Solitary, social, dexterity, cerebral. Right, you can do dexterity at the horseshoe pin, although once we get the billiards table, it's going to be better. Do I have any other source of... Well, I do want to get shooting targets down, because I do want to get our people to be a little bit better. I do want a shooting range. And I was thinking... Oh, yeah, that's right. I was thinking of putting it behind the weapon shop. Which right now would be this, I suppose. Although I suppose we could move it around. This could just be the smithy, and I could move the machining shop and therefore the weapon shop down here and do something. Part of it is I had thought about putting it between an alley or something as well. I don't know. I do want to get that so we can practice. I don't think I'm going to build that right now. We've got too many things queued up. Do know a lot of the things I've got queued up are, of course, forbidden, but I do have some water pipes putting in here, as well as some basic defenses to get started. Doc got some mining skill, I think just talking to Wrong Job here, which is A-okay. Hey, we have all of our guests. All right. So the person we have to go and capture for the bounty is probably going to have some defense. Make a pickaxe, central heating. Yeah. Oh, that's why I put that in the top of the queue, because I want to get some hot water here again for the guests to our resort. We're going to want that. We're going to get a electric boiler positioned right over there. So lots of water storage, lots of hot water storage. Not a ton of pumping right now. Oh, Colony Wealth has reached 100,000. That's great news, because that's just going to make these raids that we're going to be hit with that much worse. When you do leave with a caravan, the people who are gone with the caravan don't count towards Colony Wealth, so that helps a little bit. I've been doing some research to try to see what we can do to manage this, knowing that I was going to generate a ludicrous amount of wealth over here. I'm going to try not to have too much in storage, which is actually one of the issues we have in our company mining run. I might start, in the company run, I might start to, like, burn some stuff off to get rid of it, or do something. I'm not sure what, but it seems like a half-decent idea. Level 9 in cooking. Naked Wrong Job. Thought about, like, I think these stack, I checked Ogre Excel, I think our cooked meals stack to 150. So if I did limit the meals to 150, then even with these double freezers, it'll just be a single stack of each, which sounds kind of convenient. Although here you can see these simple meals are split. I mean, admittedly, they have different ingredients. Maybe that's why they don't stack, but I didn't think that was the case. Maybe it's just weird organization. I mean, we do have the extra freezer here for food, so it's not a big deal. And yeah, with Ogre, like, we're clearly fitting a lot of food in here, which is good. One of the reasons I tried to limit some of these meal counts too is partially to keep the wealth down, because the meals are worth a heck of a lot more than everything else. Did you just drop the elephant tusk? That's odd. Wait, this one's disrespected? Oh, it needs a 60. That's dirty in here. That's part of it. If we get some floors in here, we should be okay. I don't suppose I have any more urns, do I? No, just all the ones packed into that one bedroom. I suppose we should put down some floor. I mean, ultimately, we might want, like, fancy floors in here. If I just partially floor it, we might be okay, too. Let's say if any of these pews were normal. Oh, this one is. I might choose to rebuild that and boost it, but mostly it's the dirt. I think some of these props do add beauty, not these over here. I think some of them might. I could put some flower pots in here. Hang on, let me pause before I read that. I suppose I should just floor it. Okay, wood floor for now. I put down the parquet, but it takes so much more. We don't need a lot to make this get rid of the debuff. We do want it to get fancier later just because it will add to the impressiveness of the rituals. What is this? Lost refugees. 4 refugees want to join us. That's fine. I mean, 4, if they turn on us, theoretically won't be too much of a problem. And maybe we can get some of these guys to stick around. You know what? You guys can help with the doctor. Maybe not you. You've got passion for it, but you're not that skilled. I'm going to turn off your hunting, because I don't know what kind of weaponry you've got. You're not even passionate for the grow. Yeah, otherwise, I don't know. We'll turn off training, which, because it doesn't matter, but it's just distracting me for now. All right. And then these guys are going to complain about tattered apparel, but there's nothing I can do about that. If I go to numbers, it'll show me... Well, it's showing me what they're going to... So, we do have some decent weaponry. Yeah, we've got a lot of these heavy SMGs. Actually, let's grab one of these. Sure. Barb, come over here, please. I can do some preview. Ratty apparel holder. So he shows up and he starts going to food binge. Yeah, there you go. See that? Perfect. Okay, yeah, everyone can reach the door over here, which is what I was looking for. Sorry, you ate without a table there, Barb. Actually pulling you out of the way, because right now we are definitely looking for more construction as quick as possible. So I'm not going to rename these guests here, unless they decide to join us. It's interesting, sometimes these people with the long dotted names, it just changes for some reason, the length, and how much it shows. I don't know why that is. It's weird that it's not constant. Alright, so this is no longer going to be disrespected, because it's going to be at least a 60 with the extra beauty in here. Yeah, 64. And in theory, we can keep it a little bit neater for things, so that's going to be okay. What is our posse going to be? Fortunately, annoyingly, it's kind of inconvenient. You can't, form the posse from here. And on the embark screen, you can't confirm all the weapons. Yeah, we have a lot of people who are still just with revolvers. I could use these guests to help out with it as well. Might not be the dumbest idea I've ever had. Maybe we'll leave Barb behind so that she can keep working at some of this construction. That's not a terrible idea. I wonder how much food we've got. How's our bedroll situation, too? Because we've got the job in here to make a bunch of bedrolls, which hasn't gotten to it, because it is at the bottom of the list. I suppose these will keep recycling. Okay, you know what? I'm going to put the bedrolls at the top. It's a one-shot job. We'll try to get some done, and then go with that. Maybe, hey, we've got 6 bedrolls in the queue. Maybe that's what we do our posse size. We choose people who have, 6 people with good guns equipped, and we just go with that. It's an idea. Stone cutting research. Yeah, so it was quick. I still, just aesthetically, still want most of this to be done in wood. But we're going to start doing some things in blocks. Emmy, what is this? Item, will be 2 higher levels than it would be. Allows creation of legendary. 2 levels higher for Emmy. I'm not sure... Damn, that's not a useful person to hit. Because her skill levels in crafting and constructing are so low that 2 levels higher is not going to make a difference. We might get a masterwork or something, but we're already getting masterwork. I don't think we'd get anything legendary out of her. Dang. Petra, where did you get injured by? I got rid of the 5-finger fillet. Oh! Yak aggroed on you. Okay. Unhappy with bedrooms. Chief is jealous. Well, Chief, too bad. You're just a temporary guest here. Maybe I'll just send you away. I can't remember. What was I waiting for before I set up the posse? Was I waiting for anything? Maybe I wasn't. Oh, the bedrolls. That's what it was. Hold on. No, there's something. Mending tech, yeah. We're burning. There's a lot of cheap techs. In fact, I think mending was already almost researched. So yeah, we're powering through a lot of these cheap techs very quickly here. Not all of which we need immediately, but it's still going to be handy. And yeah, it basically costs us nothing. Have prosthetics ready to go. I think we have someone with a peg leg, don't we? I feel like we do. So we might want to upgrade them to a prosthetic. We're a long way away from Bionics. Let's close here. Hopefully some of our guests will buy this. My shopping zones are set up correctly, right? If I go to zone, shopping, yep, there we go. They're even allowed to buy stuff from here. We'll probably go and disable that later, just on the off chance that they buy something, awkward that we want to keep. If they buy a bunch of components and be like, I'm happy we got a good price for it, but ew. Wrong job. Oh, it's the pick. Is there nowhere to store the pick right now? No, I think people just keep dropping things from their various jobs, which is interesting. If I go into Simple sidearms. Equip, skip. What makes them actually drop it? I suppose it might be the, it could be the loadout thing? Or rather, this loadout thing. Drop unassigned weapons. It's weird that they're dropping their work items, though. Because presumably, with this, tools for assigned work types. So yeah, they should carry all of them. Oh! Something I should address that I didn't spot last time. I think I was complaining about setting defaults because I kept looking for the animal feed default in Better Pawn Control, which it's not there. But if you go manage food restrictions and check the defaults over here, there we go. So new animals will be automatically assigned to the raw. I don't know, like the handler restriction, maybe we could also switch that, but I was like, I won't mess with it. But yeah, new animals should automatically be set to raw, which is what our husky is here. The farm animals here shouldn't matter, although I suppose I might as well do that just in case it does matter. Maybe if they're sick, they get fed by a doctor, in which case, there we go. We can just feed them some raw food. Roxanne wants to visit the styling station, so let's absolutely do that. Sorry, I'm going to do that every time. Just be warned. I just feel like I sing it kind of like as harshly as they actually sing it in the song, which is, you know, not to say bad things about the singer, but the way they say Roxanne, it's always seemed so harsh to me. And I'm like, dude, I can do harsh singing. That's okay. Yeah, the sort of, I don't know what this is called, where the front part of their head is shaved and so the back is there. It's like, it's not a faux hawk. It's not a side shave. I don't know what this deal is. It's like the, I think the ancient, like, Celtic druids or monks and things like that might have used to do this a little bit too. I don't know if that's the deal. What are we going to give her? Just an awkward little bowl cut? Look at me, I'm Will from Stranger Things. You know what? I like this sort of like, you know, curly thing and a little bit of a ponytail in the back. Let's give her that to change things up. And if we do have Tinctora, we'll go ahead and dye all her color to our favorite color. And we do have a little bit of Tinctora that had been harvested. Not much, but a tiny bit. Was it in this category? Yeah, right here. There's some dye. There we are. She's going to be all purple. Good for her. Yeah, boredom. Emmy is bored. Maybe there's some other recreation types we can unlock. Well, I mean, if we go up to electronics, we can get TVs and things, but I don't know. Trying to keep down the... Oh. Trying to keep down the anachronisms. In our core base, at least, anyway. And yeah, the impressiveness is staying there. I could try to convert one of our guests. Boulder's the one who just started the social fight. You know what? Let's do this. Although, I guess I could have checked their social. Oh, 200%! Never mind. That is actually quite good. Now, if we hit Masterful, it doesn't matter, because it'll be an instant conversion regardless. But this will convert more, which might be relevant. It will make him a little crankier, but I don't see that as a problem. I should bring these guys with me on the raid, even though they're not really armed with much. They're effective. 30% off. Just because if I leave with a bunch of other people and then they turn, that actually would be pretty awful. Oh, raided by the Imperium of God. They want to breach our walls. Well, that's not really going to matter. Wait. When did we aggro these guys? Holy shit. That is a horrendous raid. That is a horrendous raid. Okay, we're going to make a second policy for like, this is like the serious combat policy. Where when we're in here, we really do just all dress as soldiers. And we forgo the aesthetics that we're looking for. Gear up and go for combat. Come over here. At least we have a few defenses set up. And they are going to be trying to blow up some walls. Hopefully they don't do that. Or maybe it would be the ideal time if they did this and then they got hit by some mechanoids or something that was in there. Probably just be some sleeping people. But yeah. Equip yourself for maximum armor, which is what the soldier thing does. They're going to blow up some shit over here. I mean, thank you for giving me time to set up. Oh, this is going to be horrendous. I know I should be putting in a cut here, but I can't right now. It's too intense. What I don't like about them going here first, though, is that they will come at an angle that's a little bit more awkward to defend ourselves. Okay, they are coming now. Cover's going to be a bit of an issue. Okay, hold on. You guys come over here. You guys do this. And actually, you know what? You guys? Search and destroy melee. You know what? Maybe I should use this fence. How much cover does this fence give me? 25% versus what? 60% over here? 55%. I should go for the rocks. Shit. I mean, I could do doorway things. Maybe it's not too late to YOLO for the rocks. No, it's pretty late for that. God damn it. Oops. Get in line here. These guys have serious weaponry and more freakishly serious armor. Not to mention these frag grenades. Oh, this is horrendous. Are you not? Oh no, there you go. Can I force you into mailing instead of tossing grenades? Nope. I mean, maybe, but not soon enough. Pull back, pull back, pull back, pull back. Brick, 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 get out of there. Okay, he's down. He's down. Brick, how badly hurt are you? It's not great. Go and lie down. I mean, we don't have a doctor ready yet, but... Okay, yeah, these guys, complete cannon fodder. Although, I mean, I suppose if I can avoid the grenade, better. Yeah, refugee died. Tough. Oh, that was... Oh my God. What did I do to piss these guys off? I don't remember! It's sorry, it's been a little bit since I recorded. I'm still way ahead in the series, though, so my apologies for not being able to respond to things that in real time here. You're gonna try to kidnap Chief, which is fine. Pull back, pull back, pull back. Oh, Emmy's hanging out still over here. Let me put a search and destroy range so they can attempt to maybe follow them off the map. Petra, I'm gonna have you just capture here, please. Pretending to break. No, capture. Oh shit, I don't have prisons. I did think about adding in a mod called, what is it, Capture Them or something like that, to make it a little easier to bulk select people to capture. Actually, do we want to capture you? Right, you have the death acidifier. Can you even be converted? Like, if you die, you melt. Is your gear all freaking bio-coded? Probably. Maybe not. Okay, you know what we have to do actually first? We have to strip this person down. Capture. Capture. Theoretically trying to chase these guys before they escape there, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. Unforbid everything. I found out that my home button is bound to both follow someone and unforbid all. Yeah, they're trying to chase these guys down. I don't think those are any of our people being kidnapped. Okay, you know what? I don't think we're going to catch them. Even if they are our people or not. We're going to go ahead and unrecruit everyone. Yeah. Oh, that's Holder. Yeah. Okay, which is theoretically fine. And yeah, one of them did run away. Don't... That's Chief is being carried, Moth is being carried, Holder's being carried. Okay, all of our people are currently up, although a bunch of them are terribly injured. Moth kidnapped, Holder kidnapped. That's gonna have to be fine. Nudist are too close. Right, but I did cancel the gear up and go, so they will switch back to their civvies. Ospia's died. It's not one of ours. Chief kidnapped. Yep. Quest failed. Uh-huh. Honestly, I'm very happy they were here. Although, technically, they did maybe add to the raid strength, because I think they would have counted as a colonist for the purpose of calculating that. But them being able to run in and just tank some random melee bullshit is actually huge. Yeah, that actually is a huge deal for us. Okay. Oh, there we go. Cancel that, please. Well, we're going to put a cut in here. That was a hell of a thing to survive. Obviously, we are going to have to get our kill zones going, especially if the Imperium is after us. Yeah, see, they must be mad that they must be from a rival resort. They have a different theme going on. That's the thing that makes the most sense. How am I running two, like, corporate-themed runs now all of a sudden? Just because I flavored this as a slightly different thing in my head, all of a sudden I've got two corporate runs. But it's working! It's working for me. It's giving me a reason for why we have some high-tech stuff over here, but here we're trying to keep the anachronisms down a little bit. Well, if we're going to put a cut in here, hopefully everyone survives. I don't know if we're going to be able to do the wanted poster thing. It'll depend on how well we bounce back from this and what kind of threats start to present themselves after. We'll see. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.